Wait, they were like, what?
And I was like, boss, please.
Hey, listeners, welcome back to an episode of Boss Please. I'm Megan. I'm here with Jill. Hey,
Hello.
girl. How's it going? How are you a boss this week?
Well, I did something this week that is very difficult for bosses to do.
Oh, what did you do, girl? What did you do?
Girl, I saved money from my paycheck.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
It is so hard nowadays to save any money from my paycheck. I feel like for a couple of reasons. One being everything is so expensive in Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah.
But two, like my rent is going up, my insurance is going up, and it's just causing me a lot of difficulty paying month to month. But this month I was able to put away like $600.
I'm so jealous.
Like, isn't that great?
That's amazing. That is amazing.
That was my boss moment. I'm like, I don't need this Sephora order. Let's put this away in my bank account. How are you a boss?
Honestly, I kid you not. We must be on the same wavelength because I had the same thing. I was thinking I saved money, but not to the capacity that you did. So you put my bossness level down a couple notches. I'm just kidding though. I was thinking, I was listening to our millennial boss episode at the gym, and I was thinking, I was laughing about how I had a Starbucks next to me. I've not gone to Starbucks unless I have a gift card. I don't go anymore. I've been making coffee from home. I have been doing a lot of my own cooking. I really noticed I've been purposely saving money, but it really hasn't been that hard. And I'm like, wow, Megan, if you just do this more, you're great.
Yes.
And I really wasn't stressed this month with rent. Like I have enough now where I can live. Like I actually ordered myself a pizza last night because I haven't ordered food in the longest time.
That's so awesome.
And yeah, so I was like, okay, you can do this. You can splurge. You've been eating healthy, So it's good. I feel good.
I dig that.
Yeah, girl.
Okay, so let's move on to our real talk. I had read a great essay by Taylor Swift recently in the last month, and she talked about 30 things she learned as a 29-year-old. She's going to be turning 30 this year. So one of the things she said was, my mom always tells me that when I was a little kid, she never had to punish me for misbehaving because I would punish myself even worse. I'd lock myself in my room and couldn't forgive myself as a 5-year-old. And I realized I do the same thing now when I feel like I've made a mistake, whether it's self-imposed exile or silencing myself and isolating. I've come to the realization that I need to be able to forgive myself for making the wrong choice, trusting the wrong person, or figuratively falling on my face in front of everyone. Step into the daylight and let it go. That excerpt really got me. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to talk about beating ourselves up.
Yeah.
And sort of why we do that and how we can move past it.
Do you do that?
I do. I beat myself up all the time. I'm such a perfectionist, and it's something that I'm constantly working on. There is nothing that is perfect in this world. I'm never going to be perfect. What I deem perfection is not somebody else's idea of what perfection is. So I do. When I make a mistake, it's my fault. I literally I figuratively punch myself in the head. It's like, oh, why did you do this? This was so stupid. You shouldn't have done this. And I really do. I am my own worst critic.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to take a step back and saying, okay, this happened. Acknowledge that it happened, but stop making it such a big deal.
Yeah, that's important.
How do you react when you make a mistake?
I'm a dweller for sure, and I 100% also beat myself up. But the part that I couldn't stop thinking about was when she was little. I started thinking about little Megan and how did I react when I did something. And, similarly, my parents really never punished me. The most I got when I was a kid was timeout, but they never put me in my room or took things away because I self-sabotaged myself. I didn't know that then until you just read it, but I'm wondering if they didn't punish me as harshly because I was already punishing myself. I do have a vivid memory though. I grew up competitively baton twirling, and our coach was incredibly hard. Mm-hmm. She was kind of like Abby Lee Miller, but I didn't hate it because I think kids should be. I think you should respect your elders and your coaches, and they should be tough on you.
And you were receptive to that kind of toughness.
I was. Even though I was scared sometimes to go to baton practice. Mm-hmm. I don't think everyone should get participation trophies. No. So anyway, I worked really hard, and I remember there was this if I couldn't get a trick or I dropped it, our coach would get she would turn off the music and make us start over, or she'd make me go in the corner and do it like until I caught it, I don't know, 15 times in a row. And I remember one time I dropped this big trick and she turned off the music and I went, oh God. And I remember I hit myself. I slapped myself because I didn't want her to yell at me. I slapped myself hard and I picked up the baton and she didn't say anything. And she just stared at me and then she turned the music back on. And I just, it was intense. I don't want anyone to be like, oh my God, Meghan was abused as a kid. No, I was not. But it was very like, I very much would rather have punished myself than disappointed anybody else. But I am a dweller. I dwell on it as well. Like I'll keep thinking about it for days and days, thinking, oh my gosh, I could have done this better, instead of letting it go, learning from it, and just moving on.
Yeah, I think especially, with what Taylor is saying, she's about to enter her 30th year. We are both
crazy. She's had so much success and she's not even
I know,
30.
It's wild. We're in our 30s and I feel like we've both learned so much. And a big part of this year for me is just learning to let go of things that I can't change. And when something happens and it's not the way that I thought it was going to happen, I have to let it go. So I thought that excerpt was really good. And, if any of you guys out there are feeling that, please feel free to reach out to Meghan and I, because we're both going through it.
Just don't be slapping yourselves, okay?
Yeah, don't slap yourselves. You could, be hard on yourself.
Again, I was like probably 9 at the time.
Like, you have every right to be hard on yourself, but then move on from it. It is what it is.
Exactly.
So we have a really, really exciting guest.
Girl, I'm so excited.
If you guys watch Netflix, On My Block, you will definitely recognize this woman's voice. Jessica Marie Garcia, who plays Jasmine, will be with us next, so stay tuned. Hey bosses, welcome back. As promised, we have Jessica Marie Garcia in studio. This chick hails from Florida and has worked extremely hard to make a name for herself in Hollywood. You may recognize her as Willow from the hit Disney Channel series Liv and Maddie, as Rhonda Navarro from the latest season of How to Get Away with Murder, yes, Viola Davis, and the over-the-top yet extremely relatable Jasmine from the Netflix hit show On My Block, which returns this Friday. We are so excited to have this scene stealer on the show today. Jessica, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I think that's the longest I've ever been quiet.
Oh my gosh.
Especially when somebody's talking about me.
Listen, I'm so excited to finally get you in because I have interviewed you way back in the day, this little infant on Disney Channel with Dove and Joey, and you have come so far in literally 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like, I can't believe that. So congratulations for all your success. Congratulations on being up to a series regular this season.
Oh, it's the best 2 words put together
So-
ever in my life.
My thing is, what would little Jess think about this whole series regular thing?
It's so funny because I actually thought about this the other day while I was cleaning my house. I looked around. I was like, oh my God, Jess, this is mine. It's been so long since I've felt that good, things that I've manifested for myself actually coming to fruition. But the series regular thing is still something, I read that Deadline article anytime I'm feeling down, no joke. Because I've worked I was almost going to name my corporation Professional Guest Star Incorporated because I was like, okay, that's going to be my thing. I'm going to be everyone's brown friend, and that's fine. But
That's not fine.
it's not
And
fine.
you know it's not fine.
No, I know it's not. But at the same time, and I feel like this is such a cultural thing too, being Latin, we are so grateful to be here that we don't stir the pot, and I think that because I'm first generation, I push a little bit more and I'm a little bit louder because I can be because I was born here. So it's tough to kind of be like, no, you know what, I do deserve more. That is definitely something I'm trying to see in myself. I always see, looking at Issa Rae, I'm like, she made that happen for herself. Nobody gave her that.
No,
and
that was a web series.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of what I want to do. It's I can't bitch about not getting what I want if I'm not doing everything in my power to achieve that. So when this show came about, I was like, okay, I'm going to be a guest star this year. I'm going to because this show is amazing and I'm going to, I'm going to stick it out. But oh my God, if I'm not going to try and be a series regular next year. And when it came about, they were like, yes, absolutely. And I was like, wait, you're not going to fight me on this? I was like, I'm going to fight so hard. And I was like, I want to be a series regular. And they're like, okay.
Well, it'd be hard for them to fight it because you're literally scene stealing. And that's what all the fans said. So what was your reaction when people were like, Jasmine is scene stealing?
It felt really good because, to be honest, as an actor, I was terrified that we were going to be in two different worlds. You know, that it was going to be very much this solemn, like, maturity of growth, like these kids really coming of age and dealing with really tough stuff. And then there was going to be this crazy, annoying girl. And it's not that she doesn't get that reaction too. Like, I get that a lot, but that just means, you know, I did my job. But she's such a relatable character to me because anybody who acts like that is dealing with something. You know, I'm used to being the class clown, but I've also been through a lot in my life. And I feel like she's definitely someone who's built walls in order for, you know, for her not to be the joke. She's telling the joke, you know? And I think that was really important for me to maybe like, okay, you see this side of her this season, but next season you're going to kind of see where that's coming from.
Oh, wow. I can't wait for that.
Now, I want to talk a little about, you know, when I watch Jasmine, I definitely see some of you in there just because I know you and I've seen how you are not in character. What about the rest of Jasmine? Like, I know you said they come from some girls that you might have known. Yeah. Talk to me about that.
There's some girls that I know. There's some girls that I grew up watching on TV. And a lot of me. It definitely is. I definitely sympathize with, you know, making a joke, being self-deprecating, or maybe putting on a show for people in order to be liked. She leads differently than I would say that I did. She leads with her sexuality. And I think that that's so easy to do in a society that is built on that. You know, these girls are seeing things on Instagram and, you know, women in compromising positions at such a young age that they're like, but look at all the likes they're getting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I need to do. That's what all these other girls are doing. I can do that too. And I don't think that is really who she is. I didn't play it like that's who she is. I think that's very much a front that she puts on.
Yeah. So let's be honest.
Okay.
Is Jasmine and her chocha going to get some love in season 2? I was so excited to say that line.
You know what, Chocha?
Yes.
I can't get too, she might.
Do you say the word chocha again in season 2?
Oh, you know I do. Chocha and nalgas, that's all coming back for sure. But, you know, I think that everything that happened in the last episode, it would be impossible for that not to affect everybody and everything. And you can tell from the teaser that it definitely does. So we're dealing with a lot. I mean, there's still a lot of comedy in it, but there's a growth that is happening with these kids that I think that people are really going to enjoy seeing.
I love that. So we'll also get the tissues ready then a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the finale. Well, the teaser was very somber, very dramatic. I mean, the teaser was great, but I had more enjoyment watching the reaction videos.
Oh my God.
From
I
everyone
posted so many of them. Like, I don't think I did anything yesterday other than Google on my blog 1,000,000 times and look for reaction videos. It's funny because I just really would look at them and see, okay, what are they going to say about Jasmine? And it was so funny to see how many people saw my toes and instantly knew that it was me.
Because she leads the teaser.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the first like character that you see.
I see.
And it's so funny because people are like, oh, I know who that is. And it's either people will be like, oh, that's like, I got a couple like, oh, that's an annoying girl. But like so many of them like, that's my girl. Oh, that's my girl. I just feel like because people relate to her and people know a Jasmine. And as much as they might like give her shit, they enjoy her.
Yeah, of course.
Oh my gosh. So we touched on this in the very beginning, but I do want to have a very real conversation because I think that it's important. You know, Meghan and I are very white and we don't know what goes on in the industry. No, it's important to like talk about these things and have like sort of an educated conversation because not only I want to be educated, but I also want to hear your side of things and your story. And a big part of that is just representation in the industry. And I kind of want to know, you know, how you have been affected by it. You know, I know that you've spoken. Netflix did this amazing little featurette with all of the Latinx talent on the network. And it really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I don't think I was completely aware of. So what have you sort of faced in the audition room and beyond that's affected your career?
I think that I've said this before, like I looked for all ethnicities on a bio because then I would know that they're looking for any cultural, any race of person. and it didn't center around me being Latino. And the reason I say that is because I'm that first generation. I am not fluent in Spanish. And that is such like a very bad thing in my community. And it sucks. And I'm so ashamed of it. And I'm learning. But I understand it all. I came from like my grandparents and my mom speaking to me in Spanish, and I would answer in English. So it's like I understand it, but I'm not fluent enough. And because of that, the auditions that I would get were just centered around being like a certain type of Latino and with a certain experience. I mean, I can't tell you like you're Mexican. Like every if you get a Latin role, you're most likely Mexican. Like they don't understand there's diversity in the Latin community. There are different cultures, and they represent very different things. And I don't think that is as represented as it should be. I think that's also with like Afro-Latinos. Like that's an entire very underutilized group of people that are uncelebrated that needs to change. And that was something that we also talked there. We talked about, you know, the difference between Latinx and being Hispanic and being Latino, and like just our own prejudices inside of the Latino community. Do I think it's changing? I think that if more Latinos got on the creative side, that's the most important thing, because no one is going to write for us the way that we can, because our experience is very unique to who we are. And I think with On My Block, we're really telling a great story, but we're not necessarily telling everybody's story. Right. And that's why it's important for us to keep writing and keep the creative going. And I think as far as like you all being, you know, our porcelain goddesses that you are, it's just important to like do exactly what you're doing, which is educating yourself and growing with us, because I think we're still figuring out who we are in the entertainment industry as well.
And even something that really infuriated me, it was like a Twitter thread that had gone on maybe like a couple of months ago, but it was this agent who told her white client to change her last name to appear Latina. Thoughts?
Oh yeah.
That's happening like all the time.
All the time. And put red lipstick on and put some hoop earrings
on. But it's like
on.
I just it just makes my blood boil for so many reasons. But that's me. Like, how is it affecting you?
I mean, it's hard to say that it bothers me because it doesn't surprise me. This is something that's been the norm forever. Like growing up, I saw West Side Story. There's like Rita Moreno is the one Latino in that movie. Like
or every production of West Side Story that you've seen on stage.
Like Natalie Wood. They were doing brownface in that movie. Yeah. And that's what we grew up watching. So it's not a surprise that people are like that are taking, our opportunities. I think what it is about changing that narrative and not accepting it as a truth. And again, that stems from like explaining to and encouraging kids of color to get on the creative side, because like if we look in what our kids want to be, it's changed in the past 5-10 years. We have a complete different demographic of people who see themselves as superheroes, who see themselves as company CEOs that didn't before, see themselves as president. That wasn't the case before. So representation does matter. It's obvious that it matters. And it took a lot for me to see myself in a light that could get what I wanted, because I didn't. Yeah. I grew up watching, the same shows you did. And it's not fair to you because you don't know, you don't know what it's necessarily like.
To not see yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see myself in a Disney princess. I was Pocahontas or Jasmine or Esmeralda, and none of those work for me. Well, I am Cherokee, that's true, but not, you know what I mean? But not enough to. But yeah, so it is tough. It really, really is. But I do hope it's changing, and I hope that this show is part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So what sort of research had to go into the show in talking about the issues that are happening in South Central Los Angeles and other parts of the world, right, but in bringing up those heavy topics? How is the research done? How do you guys take those issues and kind of meld it into the story?
Well, I think for some of us, it hits a lot closer to home than others. Eddie Gonzalez, one of our producers, was very much in this life experience. Our writers have been through these exact experiences. Our production team, I mean, a lot of men and women on that show has seen family members and friends die from gun violence or gang violence. Like this was not something far away from this show at all. And it was very much talked about. And, you know, I have to hand it to our producers that they, you know, gave us an environment in order to have that open conversation, because they know that they don't have all the answers either, but they kept that open as a dialogue in order to make this show more authentic.
Yeah. Oh, love it.
I think it's important to note too that, you know, for those of you who haven't seen the show, it does deal with a very heavy topic.
Yes.
But
and we're also not your friend.
Yeah.
Because you didn't watch the show.
But there are also these other things peppered in there, like Jasmine's comedic relief, like this whole Goonies storyline of finding a hidden treasure, and other things that sort of, it captures a certain type of magic. I'd say that it like really captures South Central in a bottle, because it shows you the good and it shows you the bad. And I think it's important because a lot of shows hyper focus on the bad.
Yeah.
And these are the terrible things. But like there are small victories that happen and there are large victories that happen.
Absolutely. And I see that sometimes in the reaction videos alone. Like they're not necessarily the same reactions that you're used to or the parts that stick out in your mind. Like even myself, like watching them and seeing the lines that hit them and being like, no, these people are very aware of this community and what it's like, and they're like, oh no, you can't say things like that because this will happen, like you should expect that, while most people are like, oh my god, that was the saddest thing in the world. They're like, no, that's gonna happen. You know, you don't start shit, there won't be shit.
Right.
Very true.
Yeah.
A lot of you in the cast have gotten really close, and it's fun as a viewer because if you follow any of you guys on social media, you see that you're together a lot.
Oh yeah.
So how did that relationship sort of happen, and you know how much those people mean to you?
They are, oh my god, those fools. I love them so much. They are very much my children. I feel like I've birthed them each individually, which means like I scold them as much as I hold them. Like they are the bane of my existence. Like we hang out all the time. Like Jason, because now we can talk about Jason. That was like the hardest thing. We just have camera rolls of like videos and pictures that we could not even. Oh my god, I'm gonna do it today. There's a Halloween Horror Nights photo that we all took that we had to post because they like encouraged us. They gave us the tickets to go.
Right.
Okay.
Jason took the picture with us. I was like, you can't be in this picture with us. We can't post this if you're here. So we had to do the dumbest like cropping of like this. It looks so bad. It looks so ridiculous.
You have to put the before and after.
Yes.
I had like
that's hysterical.
so much. He's so ridiculous. But like I love them, but they drive me crazy. Jason will just show up at my house. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, it's time to eat. Do we not eat? That's what we do together. I'm like, no, I haven't showered. Like I'm hanging out. What are you doing in my house? Brett, the same. Like they typically always live together when they come here because they're not all from LA. They're just crazy. They're like, and they're such like East Coast is very different than West Coast. Like 2:00 in the morning, it's night. Like you leave the club, it's night. That's like when these fools, again, are waking up and ready to go out. Oh. Like they want a club till like 7 a.m. I'm like, who are you? Do you know how old I am?
No.
I can't. I'm asleep in the bed. Exactly. And they're like, oh my God, like come out with that? No.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm definitely
hysterical.
the mom.
I love that though. I love that. How fun.
The youths.
I know, but I do love them. How they get Julio to go out with them is insane. Because he's the same way. He's calling me like, why did I say yes? Like, oh my God, they want to go to another club. I can't.
Jill and I would never survive. We would be
I can't survive. Like, I don't know how they do. And they meet these people. They're like, oh yeah, we went to this club and now we own this club. And then they gave us like 5 bottles here. I'm like, who are you?
We own this club. God,
no,
I love it.
They always find the person that says that they run LA. Do you know these people? Like that are like, oh yeah, I'll hook you up. I'll run LA. Oh my God. Anyone?
Yeah,
who
I know
says
this
that,
promoter. I know this.
No, like fuck boy. Like I can't. I cannot. So they hang out with like people like that because they'll like get them. I can't do it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, y'all are new to LA. I am not.
That is too much.
I run LA. Jesus. They've like don't even know where their W-2s are, but they run LA.
Yeah.
I cannot. Okay, that's funny. That's really funny.
Sorry.
Girl. So you're obviously on this podcast because you are a boss. So
Yes.
not only do you act, but you're a writer and you sound off on your political beliefs, which we love.
Me?
Yes. But so how do you stay motivated to do all these other things while you're still like on set and you're acting and you're writing and you're doing all this?
I think because I know exactly what it's like to not have that phone ring. I know what it's like to, be without a job for months and months, hoping that they want a chubby brown girl to make them laugh eventually in some show, So it's important for me that if I got to put up or shut up. So when I say there needs to be Latinos in the creative, then I'm going to be in the creative. And writing, my story is my next step. So I'm developing a show for myself right now that whenever on my block is, done, I hope it's 12 years from now. But when it is, I'm going to be ready.
Good for you.
Like it's if I want to, be the boss, you gotta do the work.
Yeah, and you're in your own script. You're writing it and you're in it. I love it.
I'm gonna be writer, producer, director eventually. I'm not crazy. Like I want to direct, but I want to do it right. I don't want to say that like, oh yeah, I can wear all the hats right now. I know better than that.
It's so important that you have sort of the wherewithal to realize that you got to learn.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think some people just walk in and they don't really get as much respect as I think they would if they sort of learned everything and worked their way up. Because I know a lot of, people that are directors and not actors, they see actors coming in and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm directing an episode this season.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool, that was worked out in your contract and that's awesome. That's an opportunity. But you need to put in the work behind it.
100%. Like when I wasn't on set of Liv and Maddie acting, I was shadowing.
That's awesome.
I
That's
shadowed
great.
our second AD, which is a job that I will never, ever, ever, ever want in my life.
What my boyfriend does.
Oh my God, he never sits down.
No.
Like,
but he's cool as a cucumber.
And that's what you want.
Yeah.
And that's what was important to me because, like, if I'm going to be a director, then I need to know what you do, what you do, and what to expect from that. Like, I can't sit there and ask you for something if I don't know how to do that. So that's really important to me because I do know that I have so much to learn in that department. But when it comes to multicam, I think I could do it. That's
I respect
easy.
it.
Yeah, you can.
That's a little easy.
Yeah, you can.
But no, I also have been fortunate enough to work with incredible crews who are so willing to teach because they're not used to actors who want to learn. Especially people that they're the unsung heroes and they're so passion driven as well, but they've also been on these sets for 20, 30 years. And you sit down with any department and you're learning things like you don't even realize have to be thought out to an umpteenth degree, going through 15 meetings. Like I would sit down for some meetings on my block. They had me sit down for meetings where we were literally talking about what the aesthetic of that scene was going to be like with the DP. Like Lauren allowed that because she is encouraging me to be a director and to be on the creative. Like I'm getting free film school actually being on set. So I got to use that to my advantage.
And people do want to teach.
Yes.
Like they do. They want to sort of give people the opportunity, anybody that wants it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because even now, like if we were shooting this scene, imagine all the work that you two put in building this for yourself. Now that's 2, 3, 4 people that have to make all this history of your life in a single room. That's aesthetically, that's like, how the mood of the lighting, that's everything. That's years of your whole life that they're trying to show to you in one setting. That's an art form. And what do artists want to do? They want to express themselves. So if you show any kind of interest, like season 1 of On My Block, we had candles. Remember when we had the lockdown and there were 16 candles on that table. And that was on purpose,
I love
and our
it.
set dresser's telling me like, oh, I have a VHS of backdraft on every set and he works it in. Like that's such an art. That's such a cool thing that most actors don't take the time to realize because they're too, I'm an actor and I have lines and I'm amazing and I'm boring.
That's very cool, though.
I want to shift a little bit personal.
Okay.
Because, you're newly married.
What?
And you've been with your husband for a decade.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about, your relationship a little bit because I know that having a relationship in the industry is really hard. Hours are crazy, traveling is crazy, appearances are crazy. And one thing that really stuck out to me was in an interview that you recently did, you said that you think the reason why you guys work is because you grew with each other.
Yeah.
So how is he sort of handling all this stuff? And, how is he just being a support system for you when you need it?
He's unbelievable. Like he's probably more proud of me and happy for me than I am. He never ever sees it as any kind of competition whatsoever. He's the first person to cry at anything I do. Like the second they sent the teaser, I didn't even know that he has watched it. He was at work and he texted me. He's like, I have to come home now because I just watched the teaser. Like he's like, I can't. But that's just who he is. I I don't know. It's like, we of course have our difficult times, like what couple doesn't, but we fight about the dumbest shit. Like, oh my God, about groceries, like something so minuscule, like real things we don't fight about, but those other things, like we will fight till the death, like you're moving out. You know what I mean? You bought the wrong kind of LaCroix and we're done now. But it's important to know that I've seen how far he's come and he does the same for me.
Yeah. And he works on set too.
Yeah, he's a union set dresser. He's working on the second season of You right now. Oh. Yeah, and that just happened. There was months when that wasn't happening. Mm-hmm. And there are times when neither one of us are working and we're just like looking at each other like, this is fine, right? We're going to be okay. We have friends. They'll let us sleep on their couch. You know, it's you never know about this industry and this business.
Oh, and that's why I love it and I hate it.
Oh, yeah. It's an illness.
It's an illness.
You got to be so sick.
You do, but we're all very sick
because we're artists, you know? And like, you have to be able to do that. You do. Have to be able.
It's funny. I always tell people this when I tell them about what I do and whatever. It's just like, I have to be heard. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm one of those people, and I feel like you're the same way, where it's like, no matter what you're doing, no matter what sort of art is being displayed, like, you have to be heard. There's no, like, taking a back seat.
Right.
Like, I'm in the driver's seat always.
Oh, yeah. So we have control problems as well.
Oh. Well, I know I do.
I do, too.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that today. Like, even, like, when people are, what's that saying that, is it Tina Fey who's like, bitches get things done or bitches get stuff done?
Yeah. But also another, I don't know if you watched The Fosters, but there's a
not religiously,
Latina character, Mariana, mm-hmm. and one of her things is, like, bitches get things done.
Is that Sierra?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's Sierra Ramirez.
I love her. I know. Hopefully we'll get her on the podcast one day. But like, yeah.
We only are friends via social media.
Oh my God.
Because we're just like fans of each other's work. But like, hilarious. She is the most beautiful thing. Like, she'll do Snapchats with no filter at like 2 a.m. And I'm like, how you look like that?
Yeah.
She is.
And she's a youth.
You know? She is a youth.
Can't.
Fetus.
We'll send her away.
So before we wrap up.
Oh my God.
I'm just wondering.
I feel like we've been here for 3 seconds. I'm so sorry.
Those are the best conversations.
Right? So On My Block season 2 is coming out Friday. Is there any other little teasers or tidbits you can grace us with as we anxiously await?
So some characters you haven't seen in a min are going to come back.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Okay. We have some new characters to shake things up.
Okay.
And there's going to be some tea to be sipped and stirred.
Ooh. Okay.
And you're still going to laugh, but you're going to cry a lot more.
Okay. Emotions.
But I think, and I said this to Lauren, as much as I feel like there's a maturity this season, you still very much see that these are kids. Like in just I don't know about their like spirit. There's something so youthful about what's going on and so true that I think that's going to read a lot this season too. But cinematically, we're on another level.
Wow.
Like you saw it in that teaser. Mm-hmm. If you go back and watch season 1, they don't even look at it. Season 2 is a different level.
Yeah. Ruby's alive.
I know. It's so funny because people are so freaked out. Like people that's my favorite reaction when people are like, he's a demon.
Honestly,
he's a demon. He's a zombie.
The end of season 1,
mm-hmm.
my heart was racing after the shooting, and I felt like I was going to throw up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, watching the show, like, it was unexpected. Like, that things are going on. Bad shit's about to go down. But, like, that was just, it's kids. Mm-hmm. It was a quince. Like, it just doesn't, I can't wait for Friday. I'm so excited. I'm definitely going to be one of those people that binges it probably Friday.
Me too. Are you kidding? I mean, I've seen it all, but like I'm going to do that too.
It's the easy watch. It's a great watch. I can't wait to talk about it. Jess, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me ramble.
Oh my gosh.
No, you can come and ramble anytime you want. We welcome it.
If people want to follow you on social, where can they find you?
Please do, all the time. At Instagram, we'll be at Jess_M_Garcia. On Twitter, it's at Jess Marie Garcia. And I have a Snap, but you don't want to follow me on Snap. I'm really boring. But if you want to, it's at JessMG15. But don't do that.
Keep up with this girl, ladies and gents. Her star's on the rise.
Please do. From your mouth to God's ears.
All right. Well, thank you again. And guys, we will see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Boss Please Pod. And don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe on iTunes. Navigate the path to your best self with us, because bossing together is always better.